Hi everyone, welcome to Witch Hollow Homestead. It is a new year, so Happy New Year to all. Every year, I try to set some small goals for myself in the kitchen and with gardening to say that I want to learn, let's just say, 5 new things this year. One of the things that I wanted to learn how to do, now that I can eat beans, is make chili. And I wanted to have canned chili on the shelf so that way it's a quick, easy meal. Today, I'm going to walk you through my process of making my canned chili. With this recipe, I do not pre-soak the beans, so this makes it very quick. And I am going to show you all the ingredients that I'm going to be placing in my jars. I am making quart-sized jars. However, if you wanted to make pint-sized jars, you would just cut the ingredients in half. So for example, I'm going to be using 1 cup of beans in each jar. You would instead use a half a cup of beans. Also, I would like to note, as always, you are going to notice that I am not using any onions or garlic in my chili. You are more than welcome to put any spices that you like in your chili recipe. With that being said, let's get started. I just realized this is a perfect time to put this recipe out because it is Canuary. I'm going to begin by first making my own homemade chili seasoning. I'm doing this because, as I've mentioned, homemade chili powders usually have onion, garlic, or both. So this way I can eliminate that and just add the other spices that I like. Here are the ingredients for my homemade chili powder. Since this is my first time making this recipe, I am only going to do 6 quart jars. Now that I know I really liked it, next time I will probably do 12 quart jars instead. I'm beginning with 3 cups of dried organic black beans, and then I'm adding 3 cups of organic dried pinto beans. I would have added kidney beans, however I was out, but please feel free to add any kind of beans in this recipe that you prefer. While I'm getting everything prepared, I do have a kettle of water that I'm bringing up to a boil on the stove because I'm going to need that to add to my jars of beans. And then I also have the pressure canner on the stove with water in it, heating it up so that I am hot packing these jars and I can put them right into hot water. I'm also going to be adding some homemade tomato sauce to each jar. I will not be sterilizing my jars or sterilizing the lids because they are going to be in the pressure canner for 90 minutes. The jars have been washed though, so you'll see there's a little bit of water inside of them yet. I have my chili seasoning made, I have my beans mixed, and now I'm going to begin adding them to the jars. When I add them, I'm going to be doing half a cup scoops, so it's going to be 1 cup of dried beans in each jar. However, I'm not going to overfill the half a cup scoops. I'm going to make it just a little under a half a cup because I want there to be enough liquid in the jars for the beans. And this is a great way to prevent your chili from being dry. Now I'm adding 1 teaspoon of salt to each jar. And since this is my first batch of chili spice that I made, I didn't want the chili to be too hot and knock our socks off when we had it. So I'm going for 2 teaspoons of my chili seasoning in each jar. I'm now adding some fresh ground pepper, a half a cup of homemade tomato sauce to each jar. You can use any type of tomato sauce you like. My last ingredient is going to be 1 tablespoon of molasses. I love molasses in baked beans, in chili, barbecue sauce. It just gives it a very distinct flavor. So you can definitely omit this if you don't like the flavor, but I think it really adds something. The last thing to do is fill my jars up with boiling water, and I'm going to leave 1 inch of headspace. Before I get these in the pressure canner, I'm going to use a chopstick to stir real quickly just to get any of the air bubbles out and mix the ingredients. Then I'm going to take a paper towel that has some distilled white vinegar on it and wipe around the rims. That way I'll get a really good seal with my lids. The lids are going to go on finger tight, and we're ready to add these to the pressure canner. I live below 1,000 feet, so I am going to be pressure canning these jars of chili at 10 pounds of pressure for 90 minutes. The 90 minutes are up, I've turned off my heat, and I've allowed the canner to depressurize. Now it's time to take this lid off and get the jars of chili out. The color looks perfect, and all the jars still have their full liquid in them. What's great about this recipe is it's so versatile and simple. You can make such a fast dinner. All you need to do is cook up some meat to add to your chili. Maybe cook a little bit of brown rice or quinoa, or maybe make some fresh cornbread to go with it. The choice is yours. Thank you so much for joining me today at Witch Hollow Homestead. I hope you found this video helpful and inspiring. Happy Canuary!